Welcome to this week's edition of Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Chen. In our studio today, we have three very special guests. They are very young, but very energetic. And they are all from abroad. They come back to Taiwan this summer to serve as a volunteer teacher. And they are members of this A.I.D volunteer program. And what is A.I.D volunteer program? And what can we learn from their experiences here this summer in Taiwan? Before we interview them, let's begin with the videotape. We interview the chairperson of OCAC, and she's the initiator of this program. Let's watch the tape.
Should start the story for 3-4 years ago. I was with a vision trying to bridge the overseas youth and Taiwanese young kids. And knowing that in a lot of areas in Taiwan, children did not have very good English education. So the first thing I did was to link up with a private foundation called Gold Card. And first year, we allow 2 groups of people, young kids, young students, to go to teach in Alishan Xiang, that's in Jiayi County, and Hualien County, that's called Jianxiang. And it worked out quite well, with just about 15 each or so for 2 weeks.
Forward. 往前. 往前. Back. Back. 往后. 往后.
So the first year's experience was very encouraging, so we decided to expand it. And then the following year, we got some special kind of arrangement with 25 youths from Los Angeles area. And they were college kids and high school kids. And we concentrated our efforts in one small Aborigines group in Hsinchu County. The 2 weeks that this 25 youth came over was quite successful, and I must also say they have the chaperone program. There are 3 parents came along and lived with this 25, so it was a close scrutiny, and so and we're also lucky there's no weather problems. 2 years ago, I decided we really ought to expand the program even more. So I went directly to the Minister of Education, Dr. Du Zhengsheng. And Dr. Du, I said, we have this program, and we were convinced that it's really good for Taiwanese kids. So could he agree to a cooperation? And he said, fine. So then we had expanded it to a big program that's let's see, 150. 2 didn't show up, so a year ago, last year we had 148 students coming from all over North America. And the program again was quite successful. It's a 4-week program. First week, we get them together, all the students, for orientation. Second and third week, they go down to countryside and taught. And the 4th week, we took them around. This year, so because last year we have a lot of people got turned down, so we thought, okay, we would, again I talked with the Education of Ministry of Education, saying could we expand it to double that size. At first they were a little bit reluctant. They said they couldn't find enough space for the first week's orientation program. I said that really doesn't matter. We could have 2 sites going on for the orientation, but eventually they found one place in Taoyuan. So we went, and actually more than 700 people submitted their application, and we ended up with approving 275 youth. And so again, we've been getting a lot of phone calls and saying, how come you turned us down? Because you see the American youth have to pay their own airfares to come over, saying we want to pay and send our kids over. Why can't you accept them?
And that's our interview with Dr. Hu-Mei Zhang, chairperson of the OCAC. As I said, we are very delighted today to have 3 members of this A.I.D program to come to our program today. And let's bring them to you. So why don't you introduce yourself very briefly?
Okay, well, my name is Cathy Chou, and I am a current second year at UCLA in Los Angeles.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Chen, and I'm currently a senior at John A. Ferguson Senior High, and I go to from Miami, Florida.
Good. Welcome. Shanling.
Hi, I'm Shanling Young. I'm from Colorado, and I'm a second-year student at USC.
Yeah. Let's start with Cathy. How do you know the program, and what motivated you to participate in this program?
Well, first my dad gave me a phone call like a little bit before school was over, and he told me that he saw an ad for volunteer teachers to be sent to Taiwan. And so he really encouraged me, and he motivated me to get back to get in touch with my roots, and so I decided to apply for it and actually got it.
Do you feel reluctant, when they asked you to come back to Taiwan to teach?
I was a little
Your summer
bit.
vacation might be ruined, right?
Yeah, but it was well worth it.
Yeah. Michael, how about you?
Well, I first heard about this program through Chinese school. And then after watching a video that they showed us, I was motivated to go to the program. Because like I saw how unfortunate these kids, like the living conditions that they were in, and like it motivated me to actually want to teach them, and it sort of gives back to my country.
That's right.
From Taiwan.
How about Shanling?
A little similar to Cathy, my mom gave me a phone call or an email, and she told me about this program, and I was somewhat interested at first. I was focusing on school, but I gave a little thought into it, and I thought it would be a really good experience to come back and teach English.
Yeah. But how did you? What did you expect to learn from this program before you, joined this one?
I thought that I'd see a different side of Taiwan, and I definitely did. I definitely saw the educational side of Taiwan, and the different systems, different setup.
Yeah, that's right. Cathy, I know that you had to participate in these sort of orientation programs before you really began your teaching in Taiwan. What's this orientation program about?
Well, it's like a set of training that we have to go through to teach us how to become acquainted with the culture and also like be more efficient teachers to the students.
And I know that you're also students as well, right? But now as a teacher teaching these young kids, how do you feel any difference between being a student and being a teacher?
Well, it's definitely a big transition for me because being a student and then being a teacher. But I feel like the training really did help. It put us in the mode that made us realize that we really do have to be the teacher role for the kids.
Michael, what do you think is the most useful and helpful in this orientation program?
I feel that like the way they taught us how to manage the class and how to like control the kids, like these different ways that they showed us, like it helped during the when we were teaching, because like some of the kids were really shy at first, and like we started like allowing them to start singing songs, starting to get to know each other, and I think the training really helped for that.
Yeah. How many volunteers do you have this year in participating in this program, Shanling?
I think there are about 280 volunteers who were accepted.
Yeah. Are they all from North America or from other places as well?
I think more than 50% from California, and then the rest were all over the U.S. and then some from Canada.
Yeah. Are you all assigned to the same place or different places, Shanling?
I was assigned to Nan'an Middle School in Yilan.
And Michael, you?
I was assigned to Neimen Guozhong.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was assigned to Haiduan Guozhong.
Apparently, you're all assigned to southern part of Taiwan, or places outside of Taipei, right? Because most people, when they come to Taiwan, they only stay in Taipei. They don't really have a chance to see other parts of Taiwan. What do you feel about your experience in other places in Taiwan?
Oh, it was really different. Like from Taipei, the city, to like the suburban area, the very rural area. It's definitely very, very different. Yeah, you don't see buildings and you see like farmlands.
Yeah.
the mountains.
What's the most interesting part of this, outside Taipei experiences?
I think it's the Bunong culture that we got to experience with the kids, because a lot of them were from the Bunong tribe.
The Aborigines, right?
Yeah, Aborigines.
And Michael, you?
Well, like, the difference between, like, the city kids and the countryside kids made a big impact, because, like, city kids usually are, like, greedy, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, like, these countryside kids were more humble. They didn't ask for much. Like at first I gave them, like, candy, right? And they were, like, wondering what it was, because they've never actually tried it before, like lollipops. And then, like, the fact that they, like, adapt into this whole new environment, like, different from the city, it really, like, shows a lot. Like, they had, like none of them had, like, most of the families that they had, that they lived with, they didn't really have two parents in the family, and most of them lived with their grandparents rather than their parents.
That's right.
So, yeah.
And Shanling, you're from Los Angeles, right?
I'm from Colorado.
Colorado, sorry. And again, that might be the first time that you come to this kind of so remote area in Taiwan. What's your own personal feelings about that?
Well, in Yilan is right by the beach, and so that was a really different experience than Taipei City. And the children are, they still have technology, they use the internet, they have cell phones, but their extracurricular lives are very different. They would just hang out at night, they take us on their bikes and, eat shopping. We go to the night market, and I was somewhat shocked at first just to see them so, like, carefree, and I was also surprised. I wasn't expecting that all of my students, their parents, like, owned a shop, like their house was a shop.
Yeah. So when they first encounter with those kids, did they feel shy at the very beginning, Cathy?
Definitely.
How to get acquainted with them?
Well, because we wanted to open them up a little bit, so we decided to make our teaching lesson plan kind of like a camp. And so we have motivated them to, like, speak up, and, like, we made it kind of like a team competition between the 3 classes. And so that worked really well, because the kids become kind of competitive and they want to show their spirit.
How many people are in your team, volunteers?
Each team, it's about 15 people. Yeah.
And how intense is the course?
Not that intense. It's actually pretty relaxed, because we want the kids to actually enjoy the English language. So instead of focusing on vocab, we decided to make it so that they learn some vocab, but use it in a context that they will enjoy. Yeah.
And how's their learning spirits, in this process, Michael?
Learning experience?
Yeah.
Well, I think I, like, captured some interest, like, for them. Like, I think they actually want to learn English now. Like, at first they were really shy and they didn't want to talk. And like, after, like, these past 2 weeks, they started getting closer and closer to us. So then they started seeing us as, like,
big brothers.
A big brother. Yeah, exactly. Like, not as a teacher, but as a brother. And then, like, that's why, like, on the last day, like, a lot of them cried, like, our entire class.
You too?
I got kind of emotional, because, like, they're like my little brothers and sisters. So, like, yeah, like, the learning experience was pretty good, because, like, as a teacher, like, you learn a lot from these students. Like, you learn, like, how to, like, I learned Taiwanese, and I learned how to speak more Chinese now. My Chinese has improved, and, like, I learned different cultures. Like,
so you learn mutually from each other, right?
Yeah, like, it's a mutual thing.
Yeah. Shanling, how's your experience, your teaching experience with those kids?
Well, I noticed that, a lot of the vocab was somewhat review for them. They had learned it before. But the thing was, they could recognize the written form, but speaking it was their weakness. And so we focused a lot on conversation and, like, dialogue. And with that, they steadily grew more comfortable, and they improved every day. I was very surprised. 2 weeks is very short, but they improved every day.
Okay.
And like Michael and Cathy, we got very close with the students. And
how big is the size of the class?
At Nan'an Middle School, we had 50 students, but we split it into 3 different classes. And I taught a class of 24 students.
Are there also local teachers involved in this program?
At Haiduan Guozhong, most of the teachers are there to help us, but we are the teachers who taught the classes.
So you go to the classroom every day, or do you bring them to the beach and other places as well?
We actually did go on to this field trip to like near Taidong. And so that was one day where we just like learned about nature. We taught them vocabs that revolved around nature. Yeah, so we did go outdoors.
Did you also have chances to visit their, families, their friends, and also other networks as well in the city, in the village? Michael?
We really didn't get to see their families because most of them didn't really want us to see how they lived because they were shy about it. But like we usually met them like in the night market. Or at the night market because like they're really close to the night markets. So each time we go to the night market, we always see like our students, and then we just like talk and start playing the games with them.
Yeah, that's right. And any difficult part in teaching those kids?
I'd say at first they were very shy. We thought that it would take a while for them to open up, but I think steadily they grew more comfortable with us. And I think it helped that me and Jennifer, my co-teacher, we talked to them in Chinese more often, like the first week. So they were comfortable with us first.
Yeah.
And so they would start speaking English steadily.
Yeah. I think this has changed not only exchange the English, but also different ways of lives. So when we come back, we will talk about the cultural shocks that you may be facing while you're here in Taiwan. And let's take a short break. We'll be back in a few minutes.